What's up, homies? It's Ryan, and today we're here with episode number 26 of our Miami Marlins franchise here on Out of the Park Baseball 18. Friday, June 6th, 2025. It is the first-year player draft for 2025-year Marlins. 21-32 in the midst of yet another disappointing season. We are 8 games back in the NL East. The Mets are currently leading the division at 29-24. I believe we're 9 games back in the NL wildcard race. The offense, as it was last year, is completely anemic. We are 14th in runs scored, 14th in batting average, 14th in OBP, 15th in home runs, and tied for 14th in stolen bases. The pitching staff has been very good as advertised, but everything else about this team has just been god-awful. We are 9th in defensive efficiency, which is a little upsetting because I did think that I upgraded the defense compared to last year, and I guess I did because we were 11th in defensive efficiency last year, but right now, we are only 9th, so defensively, the team has not been all that great. Michael Baumann, he got injured for 5 weeks. He's currently on a rehab assignment. Who else? Steve Talbert, the guy we got in that trade with the Twins, we had to send down because he was doing very, very poorly up here at the major league level. So we called up Jorge Delgado, so we will see what he can do. It seems like he can end up being a really good pitcher for us, and it was about time for him to come up anyway. But yeah, so we called Delgado up, and he has made, 2 starts? So the first start, he went 5 innings, allowed 3 earned runs. Last start, he went 7 2/3, allowed 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks. So hopefully he can keep that kind of performance up. We were projected to go 81-81, finish 3rd in the division. The offense was not supposed to be very good. We were only supposed to score 618 runs, and I believe we are way below that mark right now. 249 team average. We are currently sitting at 242. 127 home runs. We only have 40. And 71 stolen bases. We have 22. The pitching staff was supposed to be good. 619 runs against. A 3.59 team ERA. 1,273 strikeouts. 457 walks. We were not supposed to have any top 10 hitters. And we were supposed to have 2 top 10 pitchers in Doherty and Braxton Garrett. And taking a look here just at the this little window right here, it seems like they have been 2 top 10 pitchers. Garrett right now is a 2.95 ERA. Doherty a 2.58. So they have been good. As I said, the pitching staff has been phenomenal for the most part. It's just that the offense has not been able to help us whatsoever. If we take a look here at the OPSs, so Mike Anderson is currently leading the way. None of our regulars are OPSing above 800, which is very concerning. And only one of them has an OPS plus over 100, and that is Anderson. So everyone else has been god-awful, as I mentioned. Mike Anderson currently slashing 288, 309, 482 for an OPS of 791. He has stolen 5 bases, 6 home runs, 43 strikeouts to 5 walks. Extremely ugly ratio. Juan Roybal hitting 252, 304, 453. He's leading the team in home runs with 10. He has 40 strikeouts to 13 walks. Ben Melee slashing 282, 330, 417 with 4 stolen bases. He has 3 home runs, 10 doubles, 50 strikeouts to 13 walks. Luis Estrada, a very, very, very bad year for him so far. He's hitting just 217, 308, 414, 9 home runs. This guy should be leading the team in home runs, and he is not. 28 strikeouts to 26 walks, though, so at least that's still good. He's grounded into 10 double plays, which is by far the leader on the team. His BABIP is currently sitting at 209, so I think that's an issue because his BABIP is usually not that low. So I'm kind of hoping that, we kind of get a little help here as the season goes on because he should not be doing this badly. Luis Carpio is hitting 263, 368, 335, the last regular on the team, OPSing over 700. He does not have any home runs, 2 stolen bases. Jason Guzman, now this was the guy we got in the trade with the White Sox to improve our defense. He's hitting 236, 320, 371 for an OPS of 691. He's the team leader in stolen bases with 7. Jordan Groshans, this was the third baseman that I thought could really help us out, improve at third base, the guy we got from the Rockies, and he has had a rough start to the season 2 months in, so I don't really know if it's a start anymore. He's hitting 239, 283, 361, although he is a 1.1 win player, so that would indicate to me that defensively he's definitely helping us out, which is good, I suppose, because that was part of the reason that we got him. He has 5 home runs, fourth on the team, with 5 home runs. just been a very rough year. We did get Cash Case off of waivers, and he replaced Cole Figueroa. So Cash Case is now our backup middle infielder. Edmund, our backup corner infielder. And that is that. Sandy Leon is going to retire at the end of the season. I got a message like the second day of the 2025 season. He's like, okay, I'm going to retire at the end of the year. So that's fantastic, which is all good. I mean, we do have Lucas Herbert down in the minor leagues that I had to call up for a couple weeks. So I'm fine with that. First year player draft. Let's take a look here. Very pitching heavy, it would seem. Out of the top 10, 7 of them are pitchers, and a lot of them are out of college. Oakland, Detroit, St. Louis, Toronto, and Minnesota have the first 5 selections. And Detroit fired Bill Wegman, which I see that's, because I work at a grocery store. I did work at a grocery store called Wegmans, so I just saw Wegman. I thought that was kind of funny, but... this is the first year player draft. I just want to take a look here and see info-wise. So we did go, where is it? Yeah, 7-14 in April. So once again, this team notorious during this save for slow starts, and we had another one. We went 7-14 in May. April. Picked it up a little bit in May, going 12-16, and through 4 games in June, we are 2-2. Just a very. I mean, you look at our pitching, it's been pretty freaking good. Defense, I'd like to see improved a little bit, but the offense is just like. If it could just be league average, this is a playoff team. But the offense has just been awful. I don't know really what I can do. So having said that, if I could, I would like to maybe try to get something for Estrada at the deadline, just because he's the ratings, the grades are intriguing. So I should and he has a very team friendly deal. You see 2 team options, so it's I don't know. It's tough because I got a guy down in the minor leagues here. I think he wasn't high. I forget if I promoted him. I think I promoted him. Kidden Muddert. He is now in Double-A, and it seems like this guy's about ready to come up. I'm not really too concerned about the stats, but he has speed. He's not good defensively, though, unfortunately. But 60 grade contact, 70 grade gap power, 65 grade ability to avoid strikeouts. The eye's not very good. The home run power is not very good. This is our second-round pick in 2021. So I'd like to call this guy up eventually. We definitely have a logjam at outfield, though, so I don't know how I would get him time because I'm not going to take time away from Melee, Anderson, or Roy Bell. So I don't know. That's another issue that we have to worry about. But it is the first-year player draft, so let's get into it. We have the 13th pick in the draft, it would seem. The Orioles have 2 picks, 11 and 12. So let's continue the draft here and just see what we can do. Let's see maybe if any of these top prospects might be able to fall to us. Joe Chamberlain, who is this? That'd be pretty cool to see. All right, so auto draft to the next pick. Let's see who falls. Okay, so none of the top guys fell, which is not too surprising. So let's see. Okay, that guy's already intriguing because he's elite defensively. He's got some speed to him. He's from St. Peter's in Jersey City. So there's Joe Evans. Here's a closer. I don't really want to take a closer in the first round. Okay, so this guy, he's just all bat, nothing else. Steve Howes. I think I'm going to take that shortstop. Yeah, I think because I'm not going to take that like a relief or a closing pitcher in the first round. So Zaire McCline. Yeah, okay. We're going to take the shortstop, Joe Evans, 22 years old from college. So, yeah, we're going to take Joe Evans. Second round now, I found this first baseman, Tony Bobak. He is from USC. Very bad or very poor contact-wise, but 70 grade potential home run power, 55 grade gap power. Last year, he hit 18 home runs in 60 games for the Trojans. So very easy sign for us. He is, once again, another college student, 22 years of age. So we're going to go with Tony Bobak here. In the third round here, I found this pitcher. He's listed as a starter. He started in college. He went to Louisville. He's not going to be a starter in the major leagues. He only has 2+ pitches in the fastball and the curveball. The changeup will never develop past what it is right now. And, of course, you can get by with that in college, but you're not going to be able to start in the major leagues with just 2 pitches. But the rest of the ratings are intriguing. Another very easy sign for us, 22 years old. We are going to go, with Danny Rowland. We are now in the 4th round. We found the second baseman, Eric Armitage, 23 years old. He's from Oral Roberts in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He slashed .309, .366, .533 for them in what I imagine was his senior season there. It seems like he could be okay with the bat. Not great, not really a ton of projected power. His eye seems like it will never really be fantastic. But it does seem like he can avoid strikeouts at a respectable rate. The gap power, I like that. The contact, I also like that. And it seems like he could be a pretty serviceable defender at second base. Not a ton of speed to him, but another easy sign for us. So we're going to go with Eric Armitage here in the 4th round of the 2025 first-year player draft. Sticking with the college route here in the 5th round, Juan Zapata, a 21-year-old starting pitcher. He does not have a lot of stamina, so most likely he will end up becoming a bullpen arm, but on the off chance that his stamina does end up improving for whatever reason, it seems like he does have 3 pitches that he can work with, and nothing else he can be a relief arm. So 5th round here. Staying with the college kids, we're going to go with Juan Zapata. We're going to go with a 6th straight college player here. That's just how it's going. I'm not trying to deliberately just take college players, but that's just how it's going right now. It doesn't seem like he'll really do much with the bat, but he does have a lot of speed to him. It seems like he's a very athletic kid. He can play 4 positions really well: first, left, center, and right. Really great in the outfield. Extremely hard sign for us, but he is a college player, so he doesn't really have much choice. So we are going to go with Danny Adams here in the, the 6th round. All right, 7th round, we're going to take another USC Trojan, 21-year-old Alpha Ansa, and you can't be bad with a first name like Alpha, so we are going to go with Mr. Alpha Ansa here, Mr. AA. 65 grade stuff, 60 grade movement. The control is an issue, but if that improves, you're looking at a possible middle relief arm here. He will never be a starter because he only has 2+ pitches. The changeup will never quite develop, unfortunately. But especially if the control improves, we can maybe use this guy in higher leverage situations. But as of right now, a potential middle relief guy. So we're going to go with Alpha Ansa, one of the best remaining players on the board here in the 7th round. All right, routing out the picks that I myself am going to do. We have John McArdle, the first high school player that we have selected from Catholic High School in Louisiana. Extremely hard sign for us, but we will be able to get him. Defensively, it does not seem like he'll be very good. He does not have much speed, but it seems like he could be a bat-first player, and in the 8th round, I'm willing to take a risk on that. So John McArdle, born in 2006. Oh, my goodness. We're going to take him here in the 8th round, and that is the last pick that I myself am going to do. I'm going to trust my scouting director to do the rest. So I think I'm going to end up simulating up to the trade deadline just to see where the team's at. I don't really know what I would want to do at the deadline if we are not contenders. Want to negotiate with draftees here. It seems like a lot of these guys are under slot, which is great. So any way that this organization can save some money, that is fantastic. But yeah, I don't really know what I would want to do at the deadline if this team does not turn it around. I mean, I would not be against trying to trade Estrada just because I doubt I'm going to bring him back next year. So if I could get anything for him, that would be great. But then, of course, the issue becomes finding someone that can take on that contract because I don't really want to retain the salary. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, if there's someone out there that would take him, I would not be opposed to it. But I don't know. I don't really know who else I would trade. I mean, Carpio still has team control, so I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, most of these guys still have team control, which is good. Like, if there were anyone here with, like, 5 years that I would be pretty sure I would lose in free agency, I might look to trade them. But, I mean, a lot of my lineup is pretty good in terms of that. I mean, yeah, Guzman's good. Even, yeah, a lot of these guys only have around 2 years of team control, which is fine. Pitching-wise, I know Doherty, yeah, so he has 3 years, but that's fine. I'm fine with giving him, a lot of money. Mejia has 1 year, Garrett 4 years, so this is a guy. Oh, and there's my dog barking, so hold on 1 second. All right, so as I was saying, it's been a while since my dog was barking in one of these videos, huh? Garrett, he has 4 years right now so far of Major League service. This is a guy that we might have to trade eventually just because I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford, like, the contract that this guy's going to end up getting. Like, his arbitration estimate next year is already going to be $11 million. So, and obviously we can't afford to have a ton of those guys on the roster. I mean, I want to keep them, but that's a guy we might have to whoops, nope, don't want to do that. That's a guy we might have to explore looking to trade. If not this year, then probably next year. Just because we're probably not going to be able to afford the huge contract that this guy wants. He's 27 years old, so he's going to hit the free agent market before he hits the 30. And he's an extreme ground ball pitcher. The ratings are great. He has 3+ pitches, great stamina. He's shown ever since he's been in the majors, aside from like that rough year when he went 2-19, that he can be an effective major league pitcher, and he's really just improved every year since then. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't want to lose Braxton Garrett. This is one of the last remaining guys that we have that was here back when we started the series, way back in 2017. Now it's 2025. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'd trade him at this deadline. I think I'll hold on to him maybe for one more year, but that's a guy we might have to look to flip for something. I don't know. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. That was probably my mistake. Let's simulate up to the trade deadline. Hopefully the team is doing better. That would be great. All right, so I don't know why I forgot about the All-Star break that was coming up soon, but it is the All-Star break, Monday, July 14th, 2025. Your Marlins are 41-48. We ended up going 15-12 in June, and now currently we are 7-6 in July. So we have been playing like a 500 team recently. The offense has still not been very good, although now we have Estrada leading the team with 16 home runs, so he has kind of been on a power surge. He has been improving, which is good to see. Groshans, the average has dropped, but the power has continued to climb, so now he has 13 home runs. Anderson is close to double digits. Melee is close to double digits, and that is that. The pitching staff has still been phenomenal. I imagine that Doherty and Garrett are probably going to be two of our all-stars. I don't know who else would be an all-star. Taking a look here at the bullpen. Perhaps maybe Austin Franklin might have gotten another all-star bid. I'm not too sure. But yeah, the entire pitching staff this year has been phenomenal. It's just, as I mentioned earlier, if the offense could just become league average, we might be looking at something. But let's see who did make the all-star teams here. Where is it? There it is. So for us, who made it? Doherty made it. Garrett made it. Mejia made it, which is nice to see. Franklin did not make it, which is a little surprising. But right now we have 3 pitchers that made it, and that looks to be it. Yes, it is. Okay. So looking at the rest of the All-Star rosters, first in the American League, as always, Jeremy Ofert, Rogelio Camino, Shintaro Fujinami, Daniel Gooden, Jeremy Hirsch, Cody Medeiros, AJ Puck, Blake Snell, who just got sent down in real life, Cody Allen, Edwin Diaz, Brad Hand, Corey Knebel, Juan Trujillo, Bobby Wall, who I guess we should have brought back. Jamari Woolard, Francisco Mejia, Gary Sanchez, Jim Seibert, Bobby Bradley, Connor Goddard, Brandon Lowe, Raul Mondesi, Caleb Cowart, Francisco Lindor, Sergio Salgado, Edmundo Sosa, who is now part of the Tigers organization, Trevor Story, Mike Trout, Ismael Urista, Nathaniel Delgado, Jimmy Hartwig, Nomar Mazar, Chris Rothenberg, who I almost traded for last offseason. I didn't tell you guys that, but I almost did. And Kyle Tucker. And in the NL, we had Doherty, Garrett, Kyle Hendricks, Pyung-Chu Jang, Clayton Kershaw, Luis Longoria, Robert Stevenson. I see we actually faced Longoria coming out of the All-Star break, which is lovely. Sure, our offense is going to get it's not going to be a good time for them. Robert Stevenson, Noah Syndergaard, Aaron Blair, Alex Claudio, Tyler J., Ian Kroll, Mejia, as I said, Trevor Rosenthal, J.B. Wendelken, Wilson Contreras, Joe Davis, Salvador Perez, Jamie Fagan, Kevin Ramey, Anthony Rizzo, Jody Dempsey, Chris Nelson, Chris Stoltzfus, Chris Bryant, Carter Kaiboom, Brendan Rodgers, Aldrem Corridor, Dan Summers, Juan Montero, Kevin Rivera, Ron Warren, Bryce Harper, and Juan Soto. Now, I did remember, oddly enough, I was in bed last night. I was like, oh, whoops, I forgot to tell them about Tellez. So I was looking at Tellez's stats before I started doing the last episode, and he kind of fell off quite a bit. You see, after we traded him, he really never picked it back up. Like, you remember those 2 straight seasons, he had well over 40 home runs. He had nice OPSs. He's never really been able to pick it up since. So the season after we traded him, or the half season, I should say, he had a 744 OPS at 233, 328, 415 with the Mets, His first full year with the Mets, he kind of picked it back up a little bit. He had 31 home runs. He was a 2-win player, nowhere near where he was those 2 years in 2020, 2021. But he had 262, 347, 47. He finally bounced back. Last year was another rough year for him. This year, it seems like he is not doing well at all. He only has 8 home runs. So I was a little worried that we jumped the gun on Tellez, but now it kind of looks like maybe we dodged a bullet, because that $9 million salary for the next several years, that would definitely be an albatross for this organization. So as I said, I think in the episode that I traded him, I was worried that we jumped the gun a little bit on trading him. I was worried that he was going to really bounce back, but it seems like we maybe actually did something good for once. But as I said, I'm going to simulate up to the trade deadline now, see where the team's at. Hopefully we are around 500. That would be good. We are currently 10.5 back in the NL East. If we take a look at the standings, there we go. Wild card, we are 7.5 back in the wild card race. I mean, we're still there in the wild card race. That's still a possibility. We're chasing the Mets right now. Well, we're actually chasing the Braves and the Mets right now. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to be a buyer at the deadline, that's for sure, because I'm not really at that point yet. But it's hard to, like, it's kind of, like, I keep saying, like, if the lineup had, like, one more, like, bat, right? Like, if we had, like, one more bat that could hit for power, maybe that's all it would take. Like, maybe a shortstop or something. I don't know. But let's just go to the trade deadline, see where the team's at, and then go from there. All right, so we're here. It is the trade deadline. Well, tomorrow is the trade deadline technically. The Marlins are 47-53. We have played up okay since the All-Star break. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are playing above 500 ball, 6-5. I keep saying it. It seems like every year now. If it wasn't for the slow start, maybe this team could, be something, because now we are currently 13. So we will have a 500 record in July, above 500 record no matter what. So that's 2 straight months we've had an above 500 record. So if it wasn't for the slow start, maybe this team could be something. I don't know. Sandy Leon retired, unfortunately. He did not wait until the end of the season to retire. You see here, he retired right a couple days ago, which is great. So we had to call up a catcher. We called up Lucas Herbert. That was the guy that we got in the Braves trade a while back. Now I kind of want to see what trade was that. That was the Hunter Renfroe trade. So we just got whatever we could for Herbert, or for Renfroe, excuse me. And now we end up getting a guy that's going to be on the Major League roster, which is great. So he is our backup catcher now, as you see. He's behind Vasquez. It is the trade deadline, technically. So I'm going to just take a look around, see maybe if I can make any trades. I don't know. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to try to do. Maybe try to find an upgrade at shortstop. Not something that would cost me a ton. But yeah, Guzman has not worked out like I thought he would, unfortunately. So maybe try to find an upgrade at shortstop. I don't know, but I'll be back if I can find something. Okay, we are back. It is technically the trading deadline. I know it's still tomorrow, but I did make 2 trades that I think will help the team not only this year, but beyond as well over the next couple of years. So I will show them to you guys now. Be sure to let me know what you think. So the first trade I made was with the Detroit Tigers. We traded 22-year-old minor league second baseman Tim Tingy, 22-year-old minor league shortstop Joe Evans. That was our first-round pick this year. 21-year-old minor league center fielder Dan Martin, 21-year-old minor league starting pitcher Sergio Apodaca, and 23-year-old minor league starting pitcher Jeremy Martin to the Tigers for 29-year-old shortstop Edmundo Sosa. They will be retaining 90% of that big free agent contract that he got. So there was only really one prospect in this package that I was upset in losing, and that was Apodaca. It seemed like he was kind of starting to develop pretty well, but I know that to get talent, you have to give up talent. So it was kind of tough to get rid of Apodaca, but I figured I'd center the prospect package around him for Sosa. Tingy, you guys remember, that was our second-round draft pick, I believe, a couple of years ago, and he was developing pretty well, but I just did not know if there would be a spot for him in the future, and he had trade value the Tigers really wanted, and he kept showing up, so I decided to give them Tim Krabby Tingy, so now he is no longer part of the organization. Joe Evans, that was our first-round pick, and, I mean, I said that he was, very good defensively. I figured that, once again, I wasn't enamored with his batting ratings, and so I figured I'd add him into the deal as well. Dan Martin, this was just a 21-year-old that had some speed to him that they kind of wanted to sweeten the pot to get this deal done, so I gave them Dan Martin. And Jeremy Martin, another guy that it seems like it could be maybe a solid pitcher, if nothing else. This was the guy that could potentially hit as well, but I'll let the Tigers try to deal with that. So we'll see how he does. We'll keep tabs on them. But we do get Edmundo Sosa, who's going to provide a big boost to the lineup, a perennial all-star. He's made the all-star team now 5 straight years, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. He was the MVP in 2021 when he was with the Cardinals. He has won the Silver Slugger 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. So he's won the Silver Slugger 5 straight years as well. He isn't awful defensively. He doesn't really have a ton of speed, but he can run the base paths, which is good. 75 grade power, 65 grade contact. So he'll provide a boost to the lineup for sure. So that was the first trade I made. Second trade that I made was with... Oh, and by the way, the other reason I did this was because the Tigers have a shortstop prospect that Sosa was blocking. So I figured that they'd want to get out of this contract. And for whatever reason, they want to give Sosa up. I don't know why. I don't know why they would sign him if they just want to give him up anyway. But regardless, we do get Sosa, and they're going to retain a lot of the salary, which is good since we're a small market team that doesn't have a ton of money, which is fantastic. The second trade that we made was with the Atlanta Braves. So we sent 25-year-old third baseman Jordan Groshans that we got last offseason, 27-year-old reliever Austin Franklin, 25-year-old minor league right fielder Dan Cohenauer, and 24-year-old minor league catcher Alfredo Vega to the Braves for 28-year-old second baseman Ozzie Albies. They will be retaining 75% of his salary. So this package was centered around Jordan Groshans and Austin Franklin. This was a team, the Braves, that are ahead of us in the standings. They needed relief pitching, so that's why they wanted Franklin. But Groshans also, they needed someone to replace Ozzie Albies in the infield, and Groshans, I think, could be that guy. Very elite defensively. He did pretty well for us. He OPS'd at .634 clip. He had 14 home runs. He was a 1.2 win player, so even though the offense might not have been there, the WAR statistic would indicate to me that he was solid defensively, which is good. So Groshans, we acquired him from the Rockies, and now we have traded him to the Braves, so best of luck to him. I already talked about Franklin, and then they just wanted Cohenauer and Vega as thrones, and we get Ozzie Albies, who they wanted to trade. They're going to eat 75% of his salary the next 2 years. Very, very good defensively, and he also should also help us offensively as well. Much better offensively than Groshans in almost everything except home run power. He has speed. He can steal. He can run the bases as well. Sacrifice bunt is good. Not that that really matters all that much, but Albies should definitely help us out offensively. Should definitely help us out in the stolen base category. So we get Ozzie Albies. Those are the 2 trades that we made. If we take a look now, go to front office and then, front office and then salaries. You'll see that we are only going to pay around $2 million for Sosa the next several years, and we are also only going to pay around $3 million for Albies. So 2 infielders that we will not pay a ton of money for, I'm just kind of excited, which is great because we are going to have to give Garrett a pretty sizable extension pretty soon. We're going to have to give Doherty pretty sizable extension in the future. So Garrett, specifically just because, he has more service time. So now maybe we can afford to pay this guy $11 million since now we have 2 offensive threats that we have for not too much money. So that is all that we ended up doing. I'm not going to trade Estrada just because we need his power in the lineup. I'm fine letting him walk for nothing, but those are the trades that we made. So right now we have a lineup looking like Ben Maylay, Mike Anderson, Juan Roybal, Luis Estrada, Edmundo Sosa, Ozzie Albies, Luis Carpio, and Christian Vasquez. Definitely much better than we started the season with. And then backups, we have Lucas Herbert, who is okay with the bat, but very good defensively, which is what I'm concerned about. Tommy Edman, who is solid with the bat, and he can play multiple positions. We have Cash Case, who is once again okay with the bat, but he can play multiple positions, and he is a team leader. A lot of speed to Cash Case, so he can be a pinch runner. And then Jod Carter, our backup outfielder, not exceptional with the bat, but defensively he is okay, which is what I'm concerned about. So the team right now 47-53, and I'm actually going to end the episode here. So in the next episode, we will see, can this Miami Marlins team make a playoff push with the two new additions in the lineup, Edmundo Sosa and Ozzie Albies? You'll have to wait and see. I want to thank you all for watching episode number 26. Be sure to let me know what you thought of the deals once again. And thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.